Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Riffing with Scott and Simone. I don't know why I'm putting on this voice, but I am.
We're both four eyes.
We're both nerds. In fact, is Danny the only person who doesn't wear glasses in the band now?
Yes.
Wow. Oh. Danny being the odd one out, as always. It's a classic Danny.
Yeah. Screw him for having good eyesight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who does he think he is, that jerk? How's everybody doing? You all keeping safe? We're going to be running through Entropy this week. This one is pretty cool because it's got our good friend Einar from Leprous singing on the track, with a really cool little collab that we got to do with him. And the guitars in this one are pretty different. But the tune in general is pretty different for us. It's like way more, I don't know, funk?
Yeah.
It's like prog funk.
It's basically if Michael
Yeah.
start.
Michael Jensen.
Yes, it is Michael. That was what I was going for with Ash, with the riff. Keeping in mind that we had no idea what we were going to do with Danny first, because it was just piano.
Yeah, true.
It was do 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 do. So there was no beat, nothing, and we were just like.
Yeah.
So we basically just learnt the notes first, I think.
Yeah. And
then weirdly, me and Ash just suddenly, it was like, it sounds really weird. It's like sometimes two people in a room will just telepathically know what they're going to do or something. And we just both kind of started going. And he's like grooving with me. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is it.
This is cool. This is the vibe.
And Daddy's like, yeah, more of that shit.
Yeah. Good fun tune. And
then you went all hasty with the thing. I was talking about kind of before that, but yes, you came up with that, and then it was like, yeah.
Yeah, this song is just funk guitar, basically. Pavel, what's good, man? How you doing? How's Mexico holding up with all of this chaos? Kurt Appap, it's pure dopamine is what this is. Sick.
Awesome.
I'm okay with that. Hi, Simone from the Lake District, UK.
Hi.
Dean, what's good? Max, I got my Orange Colours in the Sun signed by you and the band in the mail last week. I love it so much. That's sick.
Awesome.
I'm glad it got to you safe and sound. It's good to know that everything actually gets to everybody. It's kind of weird, like thinking how I just like hand this to some stranger at a post office and then suddenly it's in the hands of someone on the other side of the planet. I think that's, yes, I am marveling over the joys of mail, which has been a thing for however many centuries.
It's been pretty crazy lately.
That's true. That's true. On the note, now that we're talking about merch, you might find that if you head to our voyager.bandcamp.com, you'll notice that the shipping prices might be a little steep. And it is because of all the chaos that's going on at the moment. Yes. We've unfortunately had to up our shipping prices because it's all become a little bit more expensive. But rest assured, once everything goes back to normal, we'll be dropping those prices again for everybody. So yeah, just please keep that in mind. And we understand if it's a little steep, only purchase what you can manage. But any support is supremely welcome at this point in time. Cool. So how did we get Einar involved in this tune?
I think it was basically we were talking and we were like, we knew we had a few songs on the record that were a bit different. Like not quite as heavy. There was a couple of ones like this one and Runaway.
Runaway, yeah.
And we just thought, because they were quite 80s and like Einar's voice would sound good in a track, so like we had to pick which one.
yeah, we had to kind of work out which one we wanted. Because we were talking about maybe having him on Runaway as well.
Runaway
right?
was a possibility. I'm sure he doesn't know that, but now you know, Einar. It could have been Runaway.
Yeah.
But we thought maybe Entropy suited him a bit more, being a bit and he definitely surprised us.
Yeah. He what did he say? We sent him the track and and we had some vocals there that he was supposed to mimic, and we sent him the track, and then we asked him later. It's like, hey man, did you check out that reference? He's like, oh no, I just record whatever I want to record.
Yeah, he's like, I never listen to reference.
He literally did not listen at all to what we had sent him.
Why did we send you this?
It was just classic.
Oh, classic Ida.
Yeah, he was just sort of, I guess the unwritten contract with having him on this track was that he could kind of just do what he wanted.
We
basically.
did say that to him though.
Yeah.
We said,
Yeah.
here's a reference, but we really want you to put
do
your own thing on it. And he ran with it to the point where it was like, hell yeah, like this is so him.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like Leprous and Voyager kind of meshed together, which it was really like at first we were all like whoa because it was so different, and then we were like after a couple of listens I was like it's now stuck in my head and I can't stop.
It's another classic.
So many R's and O's.
Danny goes ooh, and Einar goes ah. So Einar is A and Danny is like OH. Hello guys, my favourite moment of the week is here. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks Marco. Thanks for joining us again. It's cool that there are so many regulars here. Like I'm loving it. I'm loving the regular viewers. Diablo Macho is always here. Marco, you're always here. Max, I've seen you drop in a couple of times. Like, yeah, it's sick. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Any chance of bass tabs? Ooh, Alex. Alex needs to get on that.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not going to transcribe his parts for him. He's going to have to do it himself. It took us fucking long enough to get our parts done, so yeah, he can do that job. But you know, Troy Willis, did he stub his toe whilst reading the reference material? Brilliant. G'day, Dave.
Oh, here go.
Davo. Here go.
Davo, here go.
Davo, here go. Wouldn't miss these.
Higginso.
Oh, that's awesome. Wouldn't miss these. Grateful you're doing them. No, you're welcome. You're welcome, dudes. Dudettes. And everybody else in between.
Yeah.
So, shall we play Entropy? We have not played this song with all of its parts as a band ever, I don't think. At least not the guitar parts, because we recorded a fair amount of it.
Only in the video clip, and even then that was sections.
Yeah, exactly. We were practicing sections, and it was like mimed. It wasn't even,
Well, I mean, we had to play the right notes.
Yeah, you had to play things.
Just go. I mean, I'd love to do that in a video clip. Can we do that one video clip? Just not even play. Just
make it look like we're doing something hell insane. Atmospheric shredding. Hey guys, greetings from Bucharest, Romania. Hey Marius, how you doing? Marius.
Romania, awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Lulu!
I'm probably gonna butcher people's
Hello,
names.
you little chant.
Oh, it's Lulu. She's our manager, all the way from Brighton in the UK. You doing alright, you saucy tart? Short question, why does the digital sheet music take time to ship? Oh, yeah, no, that's my bad. I'm, Simon, that is entirely my fault. The tab book is actually emailed out, like, manually by me. So the reason why I haven't gone to that is because I've been literally balls to the wall busy. But I guarantee you'll have that in your email drop. You'll have that in your inbox tomorrow. I can guarantee it. So sorry about that. That will be getting out to you very soon.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at a comment.
Same with you, Chris. Sorry, that is entirely my bad. I will take full responsibility for that. The tab books will be coming out and being sent out manually by myself tomorrow. So thank you for being patient with me. The auto caption believes you're about to play Philanthropy for us. Oh, nice. What would Philanthropy be about?
I don't know if that's better or worse.
Yeah, Entropy is better.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, wait.
Is it literally better? Or
yeah.
Metaphorically?
Alright, everyone, y'all are our sound engineers for the time being.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know if you can hear the track.
I thought you were going to say balls deep. I was going to go, dude, that's not a good...
Please remove your balls from the wall. I guess that's not very, that's not practicing, safe hygiene in these crazy times, is it? Alright, sick. The track is good. Sim, do you want to check your guitar? Oh yeah, hold on. We'll have to turn the mic down for a second, so let us know if you can hear Sim's guitar with a message in the chat. Yeah.
Maybe not that much.
There we go. Cool. I'll just quickly tune my guitar because it sounds like balls. Now it's the guitar that sounds like balls, and they're not attached to any kind of wall anymore.
But they're about to get deep in this riff.
Oh man. Look, us Aussies are pretty gross. So we like to get bogan.
But we're pretty alright.
Yeah, we're alright. Yeah. You guys are alright. Alright, should we play Entropy or what, mate? Alright.
We can hear pretty well, but maybe try it with the vocal parts. We need to hear.
You will not be hearing us talk.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to take over anyway. The power of that man's voice.
Oh, so much power.
So
much power.
Much beauty.
Do you remember when Boyd said that?
Yes.
Like, so powerful.
So powerful.
We love
What was
those
that
things.
about? Stradivarius or
Yes.
something?
Yeah, they were talking about some epic prog song.
Some sort of power metal band. It's like, so powerful.
Oh, Stradivarius, so powerful.
Might have been Rhapsody. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was one of those bands.
One of those epic bands.
Epic power metal bands.
All right, cool. Let's play the song, eh?
Yeah.
Everybody enjoy Entropy.
part, man. Gee whiz.
Yeah, the clean part.
So
Clean part
hard.
is really difficult. Yeah. Sick. Genty as fuck. Shame I won't get to see you in Sydney on Friday. Oh man, that was this Friday, wasn't it?
Was
the original shows. Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's a really good point. Far out. I hadn't
We
thought about that.
just had not even thought about it. It's just been
Yeah, it's just
crazy trying to organise things
in the background.
along with life.
Yeah. Well, all sorts of weird stuff going on.
Yeah, it's just been weird.
So cool to hear Scott's first bit in isolation here. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's there's a lot of like ping-pongy kind of delays and stuff in the track. So it gets sort of lost in a sea of atmospherics and pads and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool to play through some of the more noodly guitar sections in this. This track actually has some of the favorite stuff I've written on the record as well. That clean section is sick.
I love your clean stuff on this track. Actually, it's so funny. Like when we switch and I do most of the rhythms, like the heavy rhythms, and you do more of the cleaning sort of stuff. I'm like, fuck, Scott really knows how to write a clean part. It's nice to switch it up every now and again. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, totally.
Instead of me going.
Just playing all those leady boys. Hey, love from Portugal. I was eager for your gig here. Very sad for the cancellation. Yeah, so sorry about that. We were
so
bummed.
So looking forward to that gig as well.
Totally.
That and Radar were the two. We were just like,
yes, come on. Yeah. Everything getting cancelled. Like I said, 2020 is not canon. We just pretend this year didn't happen, except for all the cool stuff that did. Forget about everything else. Can really appreciate some of the small details live and with the guitars a bit louder in the mix. Awesome. Thanks, Martin. It's cool to play through these tracks and sort of talk through a little bit of the arrangement and stuff, because obviously when you mix a record, some finer details kind of get lost amongst the mix of everything. Just because it's the nature of it. It's like with drums, you lose your ghost notes on the snare sometimes, and all those finer details, especially when you're creating stuff with lots of really thick pads and keyboards and stuff like that.
Headphones are good for that though.
That's true.
I love listening to music now and again with just some good buds, or even some good cans if you've got them.
Yeah.
You really hear a lot of things that you don't hear like even on a good stereo.
Yeah, there's just something about having the sound like right up in your ears that allows you to absorb everything.
I think it's the frequency range as well. Like it must pop like I think it pops a bit at the top end a little bit more once it's like right in there. So you go, oh, whoa! I never heard that little.
Yeah, there's a whole layer that you've not heard. Yeah, clean parts at the end sounded bloody great. Thanks, Dave.
Damn Corona cooties.
Yeah, damn those Corona cooties.
No multi-scale sepia.
Yeah, no.
It might just be the angles of the.
Yeah. These are just regular.
They're both
standard.
Regular boys, but we are kind of angled, so to fit in.
Look how shiny they are.
They
Look
are.
how beautiful both of these instruments
I haven't even cleaned it. It still looks
so nice.
I've never had anything as
beautiful in your entire life. Oh man, everyone should. If you haven't already seen it, you need to go and check out Petrucci's Psycho Exercises.
It's the best thing ever.
Those videos are so funny, man. Oh my god. Adam02 was the guy who uploaded them the first time. His YouTube got pulled off, but someone ripped the videos.
So good.
So funny. The pickups in this guitar were hand-wired by Tony Blair. I didn't even need to ask him twice. He just hand-wired them straight away.
I love it when he's like, these guitars were painted by Michelangelo.
And I don't mean that guitar noob, I mean that dude that painted Jesus on the ceiling.
That's the best bit.
Oh man.
Anyway.
So funny.
Left channel is cutting in and out on your mics.
Oh yeah. For some weird reason I've had this cable's been a bit on the dicky side. I don't know why it's doing that. Let us know if the mic is kind of wavering really in volume. Bad. Seems there are microphone problems.
Oh, okay. Great. It's getting worse. Okay. That's what we like to hear. Let me just give it a bit of a jiggle.
Check. Hey, 1 2 1 2. Blah 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 blah.
Hello.
Let us know if that's any better. I hope it is. I hope I don't have to go and search for another bloody microphone cable because I'm not even sure I've got one.
I love it. Like we took all those microphone cables to your mum's for the new rehearsal space, and now it's like,
and now they're all busted.
Now we have no microphone cables.
Yeah. Oh god. Oh, it's the worst. So yeah, let us know if you're picking anything more up in terms of crappy microphone nonsense.
Yeah.
Just let us know. Because yeah, obviously we're not monitoring our own sound here, so we don't know whether it's cutting in or out. Still cutting out.
It's like Arnie.
What can I do?
I don't even have any in my car either.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I have an idea. All right, I'm gonna switch us back to the screen for a moment because we're not going to be doing anything particularly interesting here. But bear with us for a moment. I'm gonna switch over microphones and we should be good to go. Give us a few moments.
A microphone? I don't know which way you're going. I'm just trying to get out the way.
Cool. Is this any better? Let us know if this is better.
Yes. And that you can hear us both, I guess.
Have you tried turning it off and on again? That's a classic. Just let us know if you can hear us okay, everybody.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Back to the Future rules. You're not wrong. Back to the Future is sick.
Erased from existence. 1.21 gigawatts!
Classic.
Okay, apparently we're good.
Cool.
So we can start going through the track.
Okay.
In bits.
Let's pull up your file. So
You want to start with your part? Or?
yeah. Now I just realised that because we've got this microphone on, I'm gonna have to do some kind of crazy thingamajig here.
Mute there.
So
Oh,
we might have to do this all with the one instrument.
sounds like we've got a noise gate now.
Oh, we do? Okay.
On the vocals?
A noise gate on the vocal. Oh, God.
I mean,
Hold on.
that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, true. I might be able to fix that. Give me a sec. Oh, man, this is so confusing. Oh, hold on. I see. So if I go off here...
Yes.
Try playing your guitar simmy.
Okay.
Okay, that's there. That's good.
Yep.
I love that half this stream is us doing
Technical problems.
yeah, classic technical difficulties.
It's so
over
funny,
here.
like when I watch like streams of my. Sometimes I do live streams on YouTube or the podcasts.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So I'm like, okay, it's not just an Australia problem then. It happens in America and Canada too. And they have better internet than us. So.
I think I'm just going to take the noise gate off.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that and see how we go.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So what we might do then is me and Sim might play the guitar trade game. We might just play with the one instrument and just deal with it that way. So we're just going to use your stomp.
Oh, okay.
And
My
we'll just
guitar
do a
has
trade.
just been set up, so it feels like very
Buttery. Ooh, so buttery. No one knows this joke.
That's all right. We're amusing ourselves.
I just paired new Bluetooth headphones to hear it turn it off and on again very loudly. Oh, that's good. I'm sorry, Robert.
Make you deaf.
Greetings from Germany. Greetings from Australia. How you doing?
Canada has better internet. Dude, just don't even say that. Like,
Yeah.
just don't. Do you know what our upload speeds are? They're actually worse than our download speeds.
Yeah.
Like 3 megabytes
Oh yeah,
per second.
yeah. I'm lucky. I've got a good connection, and my upload speed is 35 megabit.
Oh wow, my downloads are now up to between 20 and 25 now, which is much better than what it was. But when I go to someone with fibre to the premises and they have over 40 megabytes per second, I cry.
Well, here I'm on fibre to the node.
Like me.
Yeah, but I've got like 85, 95 download speed.
Oh, that's good.
Like I'm actually really lucky here. Potato upload speed though.
Oh,
yes.
dude, potato everything. Australia has, I think we have the worst internet in a Western country in the world. There's countries that are not Western countries
that have better internet.
I think Kazakhstan has better internet than us. Like smaller countries, because they figured out that, you know,
the internet is important
for business, but apparently we haven't.
No.
So
All
apologies.
right. Well, let's
do this.
Yeah, let's talk Entropy. So, Simi's little rhythm part is sort of what kind of started this whole verse groove. So do you want to give that little bit of a play?
So it's basically I've got it I've got a volume pedal, but you can do it on your guitar volume knob or whatever. But you just want it to be pulled back a little bit. You don't want
Yeah.
that sounds like anus. So
Too heavy.
but you got to find that sweet spot. So you need a little bit of it. So it's just
Yeah, that's it. So it's just this cool kind of groove that follows, that the bass is following that and the drums are following that. It's just a cool little groove, really. Plays around with, what is this? This is D. Is it D minor? This tune? Yeah, I guess it would be.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the groove is pretty cool on this one, and Ash does sort of like offbeat hats and stuff to kind of catch some of those rhythms. And then my part over the top is basically just like an eighth note delay. So I'm literally only playing like a couple of notes, but letting the delay do all of the hard work, basically, which sounds a little bit like this. If you want to pass me over that.
Here you go.
Beautiful.
Would you like some beautiful cleany? Oh, you've already done it. Look at that.
On top of it.
Oh.
That's basically all it is the whole time.
Is it very buttery?
It is. Oops. So that's basically all that's really going on with that section. Because I get bored easily, I wanted to add a couple of little extra fills as well. So
You did that too.
So yeah,
Just like
classic ADD right here. So yeah, because that part felt a little repetitive to me, I wanted to add a couple of like little features in the clean part, not to kind of steal away from anything, but just to kind of add a little bit extra. So in the second half of the verse, there's this little extra bit here. Just simple minor pentatonic stuff. That pretty much sounds good over anything. And yeah, just letting that delay kind of do a lot of the work. Now, the delay that we're using here is not actually set up for this track. If it were up to, if I had, a patch set up for this, it'd probably be a little bit more ping pong kind of style. So
It goes
Yeah, so it almost turned into a sequence of 16th notes rather than a sequence of 8th notes, which it is. So those bounces would sort of occupy the space between it. You've probably heard it a bunch of times. There's a tune from The Contortionist. I can't remember the name of the song. It's on Language. It's the big one off that album, the single. I can't remember the name of the song, but it starts off with this like clean delay thing, and it's just it's so sick. Similar vibe there, where they're using the delay to kind of add in all of these extra bounces, so it sounds way more complicated than it is.
Actually, there's a really cool example of that as well on Distant Bells. When it starts building up before the very big chorus.
Oh,
Leprous.
yeah, that guitar
That
thing.
guitar
Oh,
bit.
that's wild. Yeah.
Because it's literally just
Yeah.
do 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 do, but because of the ping ponging, it's
Yeah,
like
it's so wild, man.
It's just like, oh my god, that is
man.
so cool.
Yeah.
I love delay.
Delay is the coolest
Delay
thing ever.
is the coolest effect. It's just so many uses.
So many cool things you can do with it. Man, that record is so good.
Yeah.
Can I just
I
say?
just always remembered that, so
Yeah.
it's before the last epic chorus.
yeah.
That bit, there's a guitar bit. You'll know what I'm
Intuition.
talking- That's
Intuition,
the one.
Language. Yeah, cool. Yeah. That tune is so sick. In fact, that record kind of got me into the Contortionists generally.
Yeah,
Like
Contortion's great.
they were cool before, but there was something about that record where their whole style sort of became way more proggy.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of more like proggy metalcore, I guess.
I got
prior to that.
into the one before that. Oh, I can't remember what it was called.
Is it Exoplanet?
No, it was one of the older ones. It was with the old singer as well.
Yeah, Chris, Intuition, that's the track. The one with all the cool bouncy delays.
Intrinsic was the album I got into. And that was a really cool record.
Yeah, band is wild. Band is so good. So yeah, it's another example of that kind of ping-pongy kind of delay that creates this sort of big rhythmic effect that's not actually what's happening in terms of the physical playing of the instrument. So you're using the delay to create a new rhythm, which is pretty sweet. So that's all that's really happening in the verse. It's pretty spacious. Most of the verse is for Danny, basically, to sing over.
Yeah, and it's just adding to what Scott said before about, adding little things on it. I did the same with it because the main riff on the verse, dun, 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 it's boring to just dun, 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 the whole way through it.
Yeah.
So I kind of changed some of the rhythm as well with the dun, just to add a bit of.
It's one. I feel like that groove was improvised, and you kind of just played what felt good.
Yeah, I did.
And then it was sort of more a case of learning what you did.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we went to track it properly, I was like, oh man, how do I want to actually do this?
Yeah. Well, this brings up a really good point actually about tracking guitars generally, which is when you've got a groove or a riff like that, which is fairly open, and you're sort of improvising these rhythms in between. You've got your focus points where that there are certain rhythms that you always catch, but then there's all this all the filler stuff that sits in between those hits that you tend to improvise and be creative with on the spot. But when you come to track guitars, you have to double track everything, or at least a lot of it. And this rhythm guitar track, we had to double track. So Simi kind of had to commit to a rhythm and work out what it is that she wanted to play note for note, so that it wouldn't sound like a complete mess when it's put together. Because obviously, if you track a tight rhythm guitar part and it's not the same in both sides, it just sounds like a mess. So yeah, this one was pretty tricky to record for that reason.
Just wanted to get it perfect,
Yeah, we had to kind of commit to certain things. So the chorus, I'm doing this sort of funk guitar thing. Something like this.
One of these.
Yeah. So you want to do the shoulder thing while you're playing this, because that's sort of part of what you got to do. That's how you get it to flow, man.
This whole song is just.
At this point, I was listening to a bunch of intervals, and Aaron does all this really cool stuff with dead notes between phrases, like. that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it, like, if I took that out,
yeah,
boring. So all those dead notes are kind of where all that funk is coming from. It's all in the notes I'm not playing, basically. If you can play it well, which I didn't just then. So that's kind of my part in that whole chorus.
and my part
And your part,
is basically a bit more of a jaunt version of what you're doing.
yeah, it's just
I was like, okay, we need to
thick.
bridge. That's basically what I was going for with the heavier parts in this tune. I'm like,
Yeah.
to find that funky bridge where it's a bit jaunty but not.
not like
We didn't want it to be like, you know,
Metal.
colors in the sun or
yeah,
water
yeah.
over the bridge, but
Yeah.
just kind of that element of it. So I'm basically doing the same thing, octaves. I'm in the wrong patch. That is a bitch to play, by the way.
Yeah. Where is that? Oh, yeah.
As you can hear. Again, you need to have it stripped back a bit, because otherwise it just is just messy.
It's too it's too big. So you want to kind of
And it is hard to mute, you know, because I'm muting all these strings in between.
Yeah.
I kind of try and use other fingers
to mute.
to mute it.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're over a harmonic, it can still ring. So that's why I have one of these things, if you're wondering.
Yeah,
they kind of help.
fret wrap is really good for that.
You just pull it down when you need it, and when you don't need it, you pull it back up. So that can help clean it up. Or pulling back the volume a little bit. Just find that sweet spot.
Antoine, do you count or do you feel your grooves in order to play your riffs, or maybe follow the drums?
Bit of everything.
Bit of
right?
everything.
Yeah.
There are times where you have to count it because you're trying to find where an entry point is in a riff or something like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, once you get the counting, then you can start to feel it. Sometimes you just feel it the whole time. Sometimes it's just a matter of like muscle memory.
I think a song like this, it's easier to kind of follow a groove, but like
I'm not
Reconnected,
Yeah,
I have to
yeah.
count some of that stuff
Yeah.
because especially the ending of that song.
Yeah.
Well, not really counting, but just patterns or something. Like you need to kind of be like, this is where it comes in and have an idea. Whereas songs like this, you can kind of
groove out
breathe
a
out a
little
little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So I would say it's a combination. If you can feel it, then do that. But
Definitely
If you-
follow the drums.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
drums are
100%.
super important
100%.
for feeling it and counting. So
Yeah.
you always follow the drums.
Yeah.
They're the most important
yeah, agreed.
part. Don't
Which
tell
could-
Ash I said that.
He'll get a big head, bigger than he already has. Which guitarists were a major influence for you guys?
Vi, Gary Moore, Satriani. I have to say Hammett. I mean, Metallica was a huge influence on me when I was first starting out on electric. So, in terms of like tight rhythms, Metallica. I'd say probably just Metallica in general.
Yeah,
Not just
yeah.
Hammett. It was Hetfield just
yeah,
as much.
Yeah, totally.
They
Great
were
rhythm player.
super important, like
Yeah.
in developing my rhythm playing.
Yeah,
And like, you know, alternate picking and stuff like that as well.
Totally.
More recent times like Per,
yeah,
Nilsson, Guthrie, David Maxim,
yeah.
Devin Townsend has
Yeah.
to be enlisted. I think they're probably the main ones.
Ackerfeld as
Oh,
well, right?
Ackerfeld
Michael
and
Ackerfeld.
oh yeah, and Freddie.
Yeah, yeah.
He is bullshit.
Yeah,
Oh
see-
my god.
Yeah, oh man. I tried to learn the solo to Heir Apparent.
Oh, just
It's
it's all
ridiculous.
Hungarian. It's like Hungarian scales. I tried to learn it once
hard.
too.
It's so hard. That like those diminished runs that he plays in that are like filled with string skipping and
Yeah.
it's
He's
insane.
influenced by a lot of like Hungarian and like ethnic scales. So I remember
Does a whole
watching
bunch
like
of
a
stuff
couple
like
of
that.
his guitar. There's a video, if you ever want to look for it, it's hard to find, but it's like a Guitar World one. And they did this series of like licks. They got all these guitarists.
Sick.
And it's so funny because like Trivium, Megadeth, some other crap as well. But Frederick's playing is just like,
like,
1
what?
million times more impressive than anyone else. He's like, okay, so, you know, so you're just watching it and you're like,
And now you try it.
what?
You try and play that. It's like, my God. My God. I mean, my list is considerably shorter because I came to guitar a lot later.
I mean, that's over a
So-
period of time.
Yeah.
It
So like,
changes and adds all the time.
for me, I wasn't really listening to like guitarists. I was kind of listening to certain guitar playing in bands, I guess. Like, I guess Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine
yeah.
would be massive for me. And I mean, Timmy C was the bass player that got me into wanting to play music, period, or at least rock music. And then there was Devin Townsend for me. He was like super influential on like both my songwriting and my approach to guitar playing. Like the really heavy, hard hitting kind of right hand.
He's influenced by Vi, so you were technically influenced by Vi.
There you go. Yeah, I mean that's the funny thing. We're all like influenced by
Yeah,
multiple stages
yes.
of different people. Vi was influenced by Zappa, and you know all these other people. And,
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's awesome.
I don't think I really have anything else to contribute. That list was pretty much a lot of the guitar players that I listened to and tried to emulate.
And me going, listen to this.
Check this out.
Check this out.
Love seeing me, you guys, late last year at Good Things Melbourne. That's all good, Billy.
Yeah. It was good
It
times.
was good times. It was actually real good. It was those
were
things
good-
were good.
good things.
Good things happened. Justin Musgrave.
Juzzy!
How you doing, buddy? Top notch charge. Crazy you brought up intervals in the Contortionists. I saw them open for Textures and Periphery in Toronto years ago. Sick.
lineup.
That was an awesome show. Yeah, that's wild. Human Abstract as well. That's nuts. Far out. We got to catch Textures play at Euroblast. The last time.
The last show.
Yeah.
It was
So sick.
It was so special, man.
Yeah.
It was.
That was awesome.
That was I'll remember that gig.
Yeah. Those dudes are sick. Such a sick band. Such an underrated band.
Oh yeah.
Like hugely underrated. Don't know if anyone has already asked this, but have you met Einar? For this, or was it done online? Oh, well, we've actually
Yeah.
done a couple of tours with Leprous in the past.
We mentioned at the start of the stream, if you missed it,
Yeah,
you can go back afterwards once this is done, and we explain how he wrote the
wrote the vocal part.
parts.
Yeah.
So you'll probably grasp from that we're friends.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Or mortal enemies,
or both.
or both.
But yeah, we are friends with the
Yeah.
Leprous guys. We
Yeah.
have toured with them a couple of times and
They're absolute legends.
send trolley messages to one another every now and again. So
So good. Have you guys ever toured or gigged with Dev? We've done the Perth support, but we've never toured with him.
love to tour
And
with Dev.
he's like literally at the top of my list
Yep.
of people I want to tour with.
I want to tour with him.
Because he just seems like an absolute legend of a human being.
And yes, that's why I said Vi had an influence on him. He sang for Vi, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
had Sex and Religion, and yeah, I'm the big Vi nerd here.
Top notch.
Chat match.
Oh man, we miss you, Justin. Hopefully we'll be back over in the States pretty soon. Okay, let's keep going. So
That's the chorus.
that's the chorus. The
Verse
second
is-
verse is
First half is the same,
Yeah.
and then it goes into the
So like a lot of these rhythms, when you see them written down in notation, they're pretty complicated and fairly syncopated. But I mean, that's the thing about a lot of this stuff is that this music is almost never written notation first. It's almost always written instrument and playing first, and improvising and composing on the spot. So it's actually in ways harder to read the notation and the rhythmic notation than it is to just listen to the track and try to memorize how it feels. So this is the kind of thing that this sort of section or sections like it, like the part with the drums, for example, like the drum solo in this track, are probably best learned once you know what notes you're playing, like, you know, if you need the tab to work out what the notes actually are to begin with, then cool, like where to place your fingers and whatnot. But once you get past that, it's probably easier to take the tab away and just listen to the track and try and lock in with certain points in the drums. Because it's a whole oral experience. You're not actually, we didn't sit down and go, oh, we're going to be playing this 16th note offbeat or whatever. We didn't sit with a notator and write it out. We played it as a band. So it's better to, I can't play this guitar. Why am I picking this up? Thanks, Simi.
I was waiting to give it to you. I'm like, is he? What is he doing?
What's he doing? Yeah. What a weirdo. Yeah, so this whole section.
Check everything's. Again, probably want to.
So that part there is kind of like, we do this a few times in this track and on this album actually, where we kind of skip octaves and do weird things with octaves.
That's me stealing from. That's me stealing from Tor, basically.
Yeah.
My slinky bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can I make these riffs kind of more interesting? I know. Let's make it rhythmic with octaves.
Octaves. Yeah. We use octaves like a ton if you weren't already aware.
And actually, Vola do that very well as well.
Totally.
So they've made us probably expand our that sort of side of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
It makes things sound a little bit more complex and more fun to play without it being overly like 6 billion notes riffs or riffs like we used to write, like when we wrote,
Yeah.
all the kind of heavy metal riffs. So.
Pavel, it was great to see you both. I have to leave because I have to go to work, but send a kiss before you go offline.
Aw. Mwah.
Love you, mate. Yeah, and then we just have this little bit right at the end which takes us into the second chorus. And that's basically it. So yeah, it's a lot of octave work on this stuff too. The reason why we don't go with big power chords is just space. Like when you play stuff with power chords instead, like if we were to take that whole section we played before and use power chords.
It's just. It sounds awful.
One, it sounds like you're playing in like a garage kind of rock band or whatever, because everything's just power chords. I don't know, it just has a different...
Power chords are fine. I mean, big chords are good when, like at the end of the song.
Yeah, totally.
But when you need it to hit like, yeah. But sometimes it's just like, it just turns into a cheese fest.
Yeah. Hola, are sick. Hola. Is that their Spanish equivalent of Vola? Love it. Yeah, there's just something about those octaves that just sound more open. I'm not used to having actions quite this slow.
Yeah, I'm not a buttery girl. To be honest with you, it's a lot lower than it was before, and I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah.
What was I playing before?
Yeah, I'm used to having to put in at least just a smidge more effort than this, but that's interesting. Yeah, so I don't know. The sound of octaves is more open. It gives more space to the other instruments. Like you can give more. There's more detail that you can give to the synth and pad stuff. If you leave the guitars a little bit more open.
And the end bit was basically me just following Ash.
Yeah.
I like to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
To like
Yeah.
make it interesting. You make something rhythmic that follows what, especially on an ending bit like that. It's cool. I like it.
Totally.
And you might hear it happen a lot, and I'm sorry, that's my fault. Because I'm probably like, can you do this?
And then chorus number 2 is the same. I mean, what's really cool about what Einar did on this track is that his approach to each chorus was different. And so it kind of, I like the way Einar enters this chorus because it's more mellow and because it's just the guitar on its own and Einar's vocal. It kind of worked really nicely together that this chorus would start off a bit more mellow and then kind of build in the second half to be big and heavy. I thought that was really cool. And that was something that he just did, and we went, "Oh, that's really cool." And some of the vocal, like the endings of the phrases in the vocals as well.
Good. So many backing vocals.
Yeah, there was so much to work with.
Our backing vocals. Just vocals all over that chorus. It's great.
And then after that chorus, we've got this sick drum solo where Ash goes completely wild. Hey Ruben, how you doing? And the part underneath is pretty straightforward. Except I stopped the rhythm.
Hey, there.
Yeah.
I play it right up on the...
Oh, do you? You play it up here?
Yeah, I slide.
Interesting. Well, I play it here because I have to do this bit on the other part.
I do that as well.
Oh, do you?
Yes. I have to do this, but I'm doing that as well.
Love it. Sometimes we don't know what we're playing. Sometimes we just don't know. It's classic. That's classic. Well, I mean, in the tab, I've actually written out our parts
I just go I do a Danny on that bit.
All along the one string. Classic.
I do the Danny one string.
Yeah. So whenever Danny writes a riff, he always only plays it on one string. Like Hyperventilating was his riff.
Yeah.
That's how he played it for us, and we're like, yeah, man, you can play it like somewhere else if you want.
Sometimes not even with two fingers.
Yeah.
One finger. We're like, okay.
All right, man. Love it. Love it.
Poor Danny. Roasted.
Yeah, so then there's this cool little which is just a minor 7 voicing.
Now, is that not the same chord as is it
no.
close? Oh, very close. I say, is that
Yeah, very close. So here, it's in the context of a G chord, because you're playing... Oh, hold on. What do you play at the beginning of the chorus? Do you play a G? Okay, so yeah, this chord is in the context of a G. So that would be sort of like a sus. Yeah, like a dominant 7 sus 4. And then this one is in the context of a D. So this is a D minor 7. And D minor 7s just sound sick. I remember when we were tracking this part with Temp was like, this needs like another chord. And because the whole part's in D minor, I was like, oh, D minor 7 will work perfectly. And he's like, yeah, that's what it needed. So that's where,
so good.
This is where chord theory can be really handy, people. A lot of people like to say that theory stifles your creativity and all sorts of mumbo jumbo like that, but I think it's nonsense. Theory is just explaining music with English. At least that's how I like to think about it. So rather than say, hey man, can you play 5th fret on the A string and then 5th fret on the G and then 6th fret on the B, I can just be like, hey man, can you play a D minor 7? And it's the same thing, but you can just say it in literally one syllable or two. So, it's a lot easier to explain parts that way.
I like how you stumbled on that bit. It's easy to
explain bits. It's just easier to show someone else, when you're communicating on that level. Not as hot as Scott, Simi, and the guys were filming Bright Star. That's true. We were very, very hot.
Yeah, not in a good way.
No, not in the sexy way.
I looked like the colour of
this
can.
This can right here.
This bright red Coca-Cola can. That was my face.
Yep. Roasted. Love the bridge. This is where I was wondering if you had to count. Right, yeah. This point, I wouldn't consider counting. if I'm honest. I'd consider just listening to the track and really absorbing the feel of it. There are certain notes that I think about in a specific way. So like I'm thinking of where the downbeat is in relation to them. The one that I'm talking about is this one. This note here. Do, da, da. That one there I have to really think about when it comes in. And I have to, I perhaps do think a little bit in counting now that I think about it.
Yeah. I think when we first were playing it, we definitely did, because we were like, what the hell?
But just to be clear, I wasn't thinking of counting in the case of 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E ender, because that's way too, the part's too fast to think about it that way. What I'm thinking about is eighth notes, because we're playing a 16th note groove. If you count in eighth notes, you're either on the eighth note or you're against the eighth note. It becomes a binary. So if you're counting quarter notes and you subdivide it into 16ths, you've got 4 different spots you could be. You could be with the downbeat, or you could be in 3 other positions. And that's really not useful, I find, because you lose sight, especially of the second 16th and the fourth 16th. You tend to lose sight of where they actually sit if you're only counting quarters in your head. But if you're counting eighth notes, you've got an eighth note here and an eighth note here. And that means you're only ever one step away from another downbeat in your head. So count it in eighth notes and think about whether you're with the eighth note or against the eighth note, because you're only either one of those 2 options. So you've taken something that was originally 4 options, 1 easy one with the downbeat and 3 difficult ones. You've turned it into only 2 options. It's a lot easier that way. Yeah, here we go. Your thoughts on women holding the axe and delivering great riffs on the great bands nowadays? Voyager, Code Orange, etc.
It's bloody brilliant.
It's cool.
It's actually amazing. Like, I gotta say, I won't drag on this because we're
already running. Yeah, that's all right.
But
say whatever you need to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when we did download in Australia, it wasn't last year, it was the year before, wasn't it?
It was early last year.
Early last year?
Yeah, it was January.
That's right, it was early last year. It was awesome because there was just so many women. And not just like playing in the bands, but like
everywhere.
Working, like you could see they were like industry people. Like
Totally.
It wasn't just like what you used to see at festivals where it was like, cougar girls with their jugs hanging out and like, oh, do you want to buy this stuff?
Yeah, it's sort of only treating women as,
like,
as sex
only
objects.
That, and there's nothing. It was like not like that at all.
Yeah.
It was like,
and I mean, look, we're obviously not judging
no,
women
if
who
you
want to do this.
that's
sick.
fine. But I hate that that's the only representation of women with music.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that bothers me, especially because Guitar World and stuff like that have been guilty of doing the buyer's guides with basically stripper models on the covers and stuff.
Not actual guitar players.
And you're just like, come on, man. Like, if I'm reading a buyer's guide, I don't want to be looking at a soft porn magazine.
No, exactly.
I literally want to look at the gear. Like,
100%.
So in terms of that, that's been awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and just being able to talk and hang out and meet people. I met so many people.
Yeah.
I met this band called War and Woman that were awesome because the bass player had the same haircut as me, and she was a redhead as well. And it was just weird. Like,
but were you wearing like a similar shirt or
yeah,
something
we
as
were
well?
like,
yeah, you were both wearing like
similarly.
flannel and,
yeah, we were
and
both wearing
stuff.
a flannel shirt. That's
So
right.
funny.
They yelled at me, and I'm like, huh? They're like, you're not. I can't remember the person's name, but it was like, I was like, no, I'm Simone from Voyager. And then we got a photo together and stuff, but it was sick. It was great getting to watch them as well. Code Orange, we watched them at Download.
Yeah, Code Orange was sick. So good.
So sick. Yeah, love it. Love it.
Yeah. And of course, I think it's just, it really, I think we are both advocates of do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, just do what you want to do.
And just don't be a jerk to people because of their gender.
Yeah, exactly. Just
don't.
If someone's being a jerk, they're just being a jerk.
And if you see someone being a jerk, tell them they're being a jerk. Because that's the only way it's going to stop.
Yeah, totally.
We need more Lulus.
I don't know, man. One Lulu is enough.
Yes and no. Yes, because I love Lulu. No, because it might be too intense.
Prosecco.
Imagine like multiple Lulus managing us. It would just be
man.
so intense.
Oh man, there'd be so many like
Euro-
we need this done yesterday.
Eurovision!
Eurovision. I need 50 more pictures of you guys in scuba diving suits. Or whatever.
Simone, I need you to depict the birth of Venus. Painting, I need you to get naked in a clamshell.
Brilliant.
Alright. Oh.
We need more women playing music in general, whether that's guitar or otherwise. Prog seems to be a great genre for finding female musos. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I teach it pretty much. I teach exclusively girls for the most part. I teach at 2 all-girls schools for a living, and we're doing rock bands at both schools now. I've been advocating for a rock band system at one of the schools I work at for years, and we finally got it at both schools, which is awesome. And the girls are loving it, and of course they would. It's music that they relate to. So yeah, it's wicked. It's really cool, and it's good to see all of these sort of positive progressions. I mean, rock music in the education system generally, not even just at all girls schools, but in schools generally, has been not a thing for the longest time. And it's kind of stupid, because when you think about what people are listening to, what students are listening to, what kids are listening to, it's not classical music. It wasn't when I was growing up either.
No.
You can grow to appreciate all this stuff through the music you already like. I don't think it makes sense to tell someone to listen to Bach.
Although I think my classical guitar teacher did cry when I rocked up at 14 on free dress day once, total Metallica shirt, fucking black eyeliner down to here.
Down to everywhere.
Looking like the mopey 14-year-old that I was. I think he just cried. He's like, no, you were meant to play in a classical ensemble. And I'm like, Dad, can we learn some chords?
Can we learn some sick riffs, bro?
All right, let's do this clean part.
Scott Stukovich, I've been advocating for us to have beery boys.
Oh.
We're going to have beery boys.
Beery
Beery
boos.
Beery boozy boys.
I don't know why, but I just thought of that. Have you watched the recent Rick and Morty?
No.
And he's like, oh, I want to go to Boob World. Well, now we can. You can't always get what you want. Hey, Summer, do you want to go to Boob World?
I remember I remember at school being told if I wanted to continue doing music, I'd need to study classical or jazz. Yeah, exactly. And both of those things are sick.
Yeah, they are sick.
But there's also heaps of other music that is, that's the stuff that actually sells now. So if you want to take education as a system that is built to get people employed, surely you should prioritize the things that are actually selling. And as far as I know, I mean, obviously there is space for classical music, there's space for jazz still, but there is also a massive amount of space for contemporary music, and it's still not really considered a professional, inverted commas, genre. Yeah. It's not considered a studyable form of music, when in actuality it totally is. Yeah, it's using the exact same stuff.
I remember I had a great music teacher. As in theory, he was like the head of music, Mr. Pierce. I don't know if he's still with us, but he hit this kind of, I don't know if he went through a midlife crisis or something. Yeah. But he kind of came in, once we hit year 11 and 12, he kind of really, we were only 6 of us in a class, and he had kind of lightened up a bit, and he came in and he was with modern music. He came in with Savage Garden, believe it or not. And he wanted to kind of show us how much you could hear in that was also influenced by classical music, because there's a lot of that in there. Yeah. Of course, as a teenager, you're Savage Garden. Yeah. And he was just getting frustrated, but the point, he was so correct, because now as I've gone through my journey, I appreciate jazz and classical more, because you go, oh my god, there's stuff in metal that I hear that's got that in it.
Man, if you go and listen to Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, that's
so
early
good.
metal. It's the whole bit. I'm sure there are people here who've watched Fantasia. I remember as a kid watching Fantasia and hearing that bit from Rite of Spring where the volcanoes are going off, and it's like gang, 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 gang,
so good.
It's so heavy. And it's like, yeah, this is like metal.
Yeah, Stravinsky really was kind of the metal of
Yeah, he
classical
had so
music.
much cool
His stuff
stuff.
was intense, man. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you really hear it.
Yeah.
And then it all just makes sense.
But it's cool because I think you need to get someone interested first.
Yes.
And generally speaking, what will interest someone is someone who says, "Oh yeah, your music is relevant. Your music is important. Your music is an art form." And it's to me it's still so lame that schools don't treat these genres with the amount of respect that I think they deserve.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much complexity in stuff that appears on its surface to be relatively simple. Like, how do you write a catchy melody? If everyone knew how to do it, everyone would be writing pop hits. But there's clearly an art to it and a skill to it. So it should be treated as something that can be trained and something that can be learned as a skill. Much the same way that composing classical music is a skill or anything else. Heavy classical metal. Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted... How sick would it be, right, to have an orchestra with a drum kit? Like, metal drums with like
Metallica
an orchestra.
did do S&M and it
Yeah.
was sick.
But I mean, like,
It was so sick. I don't care what anyone says.
No, I
It was
agree.
so-
I remember growing up
It was
and
one
seeing
of
that
my
and thinking,
favourite
that's
things
awesome.
when it came out. I was like,
Yeah.
this is so sick.
Epic.
It was
It's so
Michael
epic.
Kaplan as well,
Yeah.
who's just like amazing.
Yeah, it's legendary. But like,
great.
imagine doing like a piece that's really heavy, but not using distorted guitars or bass guitar or electronic instruments, using organic instruments, including the drum kit.
Yeah.
It'd be so sick. But this, just doesn't.
Yep,
I
no
don't
one
know.
wants to do it.
Yeah, it's not
There's
really
a lot of snobbery, unfortunately, in a lot of genres.
Yeah, a lot
and I
of
include
elitism.
metal in that because there are some elitists as well.
Totally. Everyone has met a metal
I think
elitist.
we deal with that a lot because of the fact that we've got synths and pop in our tunes, and
and because we're scientists, Seasons of Mist.
it's so good.
It's so funny.
It's one of my favourite
I have to
things.
admit, there's something really funny and valuable about being on like an extreme metal label and reading like some of the really hardcore advocates of that label.
So childish.
Like, roasting us to oblivion
But
about
it's
the fact that we're not...
childish. The things they
it's
write, I'm
so
like...
funny. It's like,
They
man,
look like a bunch of tryhards. Like, you don't even know us. It's a band photo. Everyone looks like a tryhard in a band photo.
Yeah.
What? The dudes in corpse paint don't look like
Yeah,
tryhards?
exactly.
Come on, it's
Come on.
hilarious.
I like to. You know what I like to think about? I like to think about black metal elitists sitting in their living room, just having a cup of coffee. Are they in corpse paint? Like, are they thinking, I need to be grim today?
They press play on like Runaway, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yuck. Vile. It's like...
go out and sacrifice a goat after hearing it to
Exactly.
cleanse their soul or something.
It's laughable. It's so funny. And I mean, cool, like, black metal is great. Black metal is a cool genre. There are sick bands in that
love
genre.
black metal.
But it's just the elitism that is
like
so
Immortal
funny.
and Emperor.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
they're
good.
amazing. I mean, but those dudes don't take themselves too seriously either.
yeah.
Abbott.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
just-
Abbott is just a piss take. And,
he's great.
Yeah.
He's
Good value.
hilarious.
Good value. Great old ones, yeah. My brother, Jamie, who sings in a death metal band called Depravity, who are sick, by the way, go and check them out, has rated the Great Old Ones a bunch. I've heard good things about them.
Rivers of Nile are sick as well.
Yeah, there's
who are
some
like a kind
sick
of death,
bands.
kind of proggy, kind of extreme. Some of the extreme death metal coming out now is amazing. Like
Hell
the
yeah.
influences going
Hell
on
yeah.
are just so good.
100%.
Anyway.
What was that? There was a band that Scott showed me. Is it Revocation?
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
They're like... They've got these crazy jazz sections, but they're like thrashy, and like the guitar player is doing vocals, and his playing is nuts. Like,
Infinite Annihilator.
so good.
What
That
kind
band is
cracks me up
so
about
funny.
some of these bands is like they've got the worst names, and you listen to it, you're like, this is sick, like Necrophagist.
Yeah.
They are so sick.
Yeah, Necrophagists
They're
are
like,
amazing.
that is basically classical tech death.
Yeah, totally.
It's Malmsteen mixed with tech death. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
the
wild.
best thing ever.
It's so sick. Yeah, and obviously the Faceless, like Planetary
and Cat of
Duality.
the Cap, they're awesome as well.
All that stuff is sick. I think we can just say without any shadow of a doubt that it's just the hilarious levels of elitism that comes with all this stuff that's so daft.
Just listen to, just get variety, man. Variety's the spice of life.
Well, I mean, what's kind of funny about it is if anything, I think it shows more. It shows more nuance and you could be a total wanker about liking all genres as well. You can be an elitist about loving everything. Yeah. But I would prefer that.
I love everything, but I don't like a lot of things. But I don't go on and start berating people. Yeah. I wouldn't go, this is gay or this is shit. It's like, God, if you've got nothing better, I would just literally listen to it and just be like, I might have a laugh with inner circle of friends about how shit is this or something, but that's it. Art is it's subjective, isn't it? It's I'm saying something's crap. That doesn't mean it's crap necessarily.
No, it just means
I might have shit taste.
Yeah. I find mumble rap really horrendous. I can't get into it at all. Some people love it. That's fine. I don't understand it myself, but that's okay. I will never.
But I do like some rap.
I would, look, I would never go to a mumble rapper's page and start berating them about it.
It's like some people don't like death metal vocals, but they can understand the music is cool.
Yeah, totally.
I get that.
Totally.
My mum's one of those people. She's like, you have to listen to that growling. I'm like, Mum, it's the music. Listen to the music, man.
Cool. Let's get to pretty much the last part of the tune. The very end is just big power chords. It's pretty straightforward. But this bridge part was a part that I kind of heard in my head when we were jamming it, because I think we were talking about there being a more mellow bridge section, and I was like, oh man, I could imagine some really cool stereo guitar parts which sort of play off of each other. Me and Simi kind of did that a little bit with the solo section in Fragile Serene.
Yes,
where we kind of do a little bit of left-right kind of guitar playing and we do a call and response. And I wanted to do that with the clean guitars in this part. So this is one of my favorite parts, not to toot my own horn, but I'm really proud of this section.
I love this bit.
Because it just, there's something about it. It's really ethereal and has a cool kind of vibe to it. So the top part was the first part I wrote. I wrote the whole first guitar part and deliberately left space because I knew I wanted a part to answer in between. So the first part. And then it just loops again with that. So there's lots of open space and it's sort of just expressing the chords that are going on elsewhere. And then the other part is the part I gave Simi, which is hard because it's the response to all of that that's happening. So
no, it's only hard when you're trying to learn it from I tried to learn it where you split the parts.
Yeah, soz.
And it comes in.
It makes no sense. But of course, if I send you both parts, then it's like, which part is mine?
That still
What's going on? Yeah. So it's hard to show exactly. Hard to teach. It's a hard section to teach. So the first part kind of goes so there's this. I'm trying to play both parts at once, mind you, so this is hard. So that's supposed to kind of create one whole phrase. So you've got one part that's just this, and then the other part responds by following with that, right? Sorry. Sorry.
I was just trying to remind you.
Yeah. So that part past the very first phrase is probably the only one that doesn't really make sense on its own, where you really need to hear the other section, these three notes. But once you put those two parts together, it kind of makes sense. The rest of it, I wanted to try and build it so that the phrases did actually make sense on their own. But yeah, it's very sort of like airy. Like there's really no. The idea was that it was supposed to kind of sound like, I don't know. I was kind of imagining like sparkling lights, like like looking at the night sky or something like that, where it's very sparse and every little note is sort of like just a speck of light somewhere. To be wanky about it. Sorry, I visualize a lot of what I create, so I tend to like imagine scenery when I'm writing. In this part, I wanted to kind of sound a bit like looking at the stars. So that was kind of the idea with this whole section. And yeah, the tab for this is horrendous, and I'm sorry because there's a bunch of notes that play over the top of each other as they're added. Like, even this first chord here, like it looks really ugly on tab, but once you recognize that it's just literally these three notes, but just held, it makes a ton more sense. So yeah, this is sort of one of the things about notation is that it can look really gross when you're trying to do stuff like this, but when you play it on the guitar, it makes perfect sense. You're just arpeggiating a chord. You're not, rather than playing it all in one go like this, you're just separating it. That's all. So yeah, the tab is a little ugly, so sorry about that. So that's my favorite part of the track. And then we just have this big old fat chorus right at the end.
Yeah.
It's just big power chords.
Big chords.
Big thick boys.
We can do big thick boys with a 7-string, especially when it's down tuned. Do you do it like how because I think I might have recorded that bit, but it's like, do you do it the full chords?
I am now.
Yeah,
The tab only has the 3-note power chord, but we're now playing as a 4-note power chord.
So you can get that kind of sound with the
Big,
extra string. With the
big
extra
and
string. That just sounds so good. And on that note,
we spend way too much time together. Way too much time. Yeah, so that is Entropy in a nutshell. So if y'all have any questions about the track or just generally anything at all, hit us up in the chat. We'll probably stick around for. Well, you've got to go like in 5 minutes.
My mum literally
right?
just messaged me and she's like, "You better be there." I'm like, "I'm not gonna be there on time." So she's probably I'm gonna show her this bit at the end now to calm her down so she can laugh. Sorry, Mum.
My bad.
Love you.
Hey Rob, thanks for tuning in. Greetings from Sweden, all the way from Sweden. Far out, so cool. Now we are stuck in Perth. What are the chances of a sneaky, appropriately physically distanced concert in the next little while? We'll have to see, man. We're not really sure what we can or cannot do at this stage.
It's all very up in the air.
The venues are the issue.
Yeah. And also the government actually allowing us to.
There's so much red tape and stuff.
Yeah.
We would like to do something like that. I reckon that'd be sick, and it's definitely something we've talked about.
Yeah. I mean, we'd love to do something, even like people are doing streams and stuff. Again, internet issues, but
yeah.
Am I okay to unplug this?
Yeah, should be okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. But yeah, it's just we're trying to sort things out. Things are happening, even though it seems like they're not.
Yeah.
It's just slowly.
Yeah, exactly.
Very slowly.
Everything's on
at the
slow-mo
moment.
at the moment. Hi guys, technical question. What pedals do you use for distortion? We don't actually use pedals. We're pretty much just using the gain section on an amp model on our Helix Stomp. We're both, I think are you running the same amp head as me, the
I'm
Bedonk?
using all the same stuff as you.
It's a Line 6 Bedonk that we're using on the Helix Stomp, or any of the Helix pedals will have that, it's actually a Line 6 amp, which is really cool. I just found it had like this bitiness that I really like in a distortion. It's not. I really don't like it when the distortion kind of gets muffled with like either a ton of low end or like too much sort of like honky mid range. Like a little bit of mid range is great, but there's something about having that nice bright clear distortion that I really like, and the Bedonk does that perfectly, I reckon. Well, I've always wondered how old you guys are. Care to share?
How do you think we are?
Yeah, all right. Give us guesses in the chat. Guesses in the chat.
Oh man, this is dangerous because
old
they
are
might
we?
be like 40.
40,
And
yeah.
I'll be like,
Yeah, all right. Guesses in the chat. How old are we? Let's hear it.
are you 60?
Yeah. Give me a minute. Could you stream it so we can see it on the other side of the world?
Yeah, we'd love to.
That's kind of
Again,
the idea.
Internet.
Yeah.
It's all dependent on whether we can, yeah. Otherwise, it might have to be an upload thing. We'd really love to do it as an actual streaming thing.
Totally.
Like, that would be sick, but...
Totally. Is the Badonk modelling a 5150? I honestly don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case, because I love the sound of the 5150. It has that exact kind of tone to me, especially the 5153s, the ones that... who is it that make those? Is it Fender?
It is now, yeah.
They make the 5153s.
Oh, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
good. John from the band, now deceased, Statues, he has a 5153 and it sounds sick.
If I don't have a boogie, I'd definitely...
Diablo Macho, Sim 28, Scott 32. I mean...
You got him
you're
close round the wrong way, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be closer.
That's... Yeah.
40s? Fuck off, Zach. 38. Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Danny, 41.
That old?
Marco.
Far out. I mean, I'm actually shocked that everyone thinks I'm...
I mean, maybe it's just because we ooze a sense of maturity.
Yeah, we really have that. It might be the glasses.
Yeah, it's probably the glasses.
It's the glasses,
making us
isn't it?
appear distinguished. I have to say mid-30s.
I mean, you're right with me.
Yeah,
I'm in that age group.
Yeah. So we're narrowing it down. Ash 33, Alex 36.
Oh, Alex.
Look, he said I was 38. Fuck.
Poor Scott.
It's because I'm balding. That's why.
It's the glasses,
it's the
dude.
Glasses
it's
and
the
me
glasses
balding.
and the balding, isn't it?
I mean, honestly, it's hard to know. Like, if I were to think
All
about...
I'm going to say is Scott's actually the youngest in the band.
I'm the second oldest. Yeah. Oh, no.
And
Oh, God.
Ash and I are the same age, and we are the second oldest in the band. So
Yeah. Thing is, how the hell has Voyager been around since '97? Yeah. Well, that's a thing.
it wasn't me,
There's-
that's for sure.
No. Danny was the only original.
That'll tell you who the oldest member is in the band. Now that you've said that.
So Danny's at the top. Come on, you're in your early to mid 30s. All right, should we just tell him? Have we given you guys enough time?
That's right for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Are we
I don't
Are we
care.
giving it away?
I think most people know.
Yeah. Well, I'm 30 and I'm turning 31 this year.
I'm 35, turning 36 this year. So is
And
Ash.
So is Ash. Danny is turning 39.
Well, he's only just turned 38, though.
Yeah.
Let's give the
That's
guy
true.
a break.
That's true. His birthday is in December.
And
so.
Alex is a year older than
Me.
you.
Yeah. So he's
So we're all in our 30s.
Yeah. Yeah. Danny's the oldest, yeah.
And the wisest.
And the wisest, yeah.
Definitely.
The most learned
Yeah.
person in the band.
He keeps us in check.
Yes. Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah, I mean every band has a member that kind of keeps everyone else in check to some
Yeah.
degree. I think it's just the way things are a lot of the time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is or whatever. Yeah. Fuck, 38. Oh, man.
Feels bad, man.
Oh. Ow.
I know I went out to 37. Now I realise
No,
that I'm like, shit, I'm not even really that far away from that.
Can we stop talking about stuff that's depressing? Have you ever used an Ebo on any albums? Well, I haven't used one for Voyager. I've used one for my other
Yeah,
other
I've used
stuff.
it in Noctis, but
Yeah.
not with Voyager, no.
Hey Luke, what's good?
I don't even think I've used a slide in Voyager.
Slide, nah. We've used you've used a whammy bar?
Oh, I've used a
bunch?
bar a few times. I've used acoustics. That's it, I think.
True.
Yeah.
True. Wow, you're all younger than me. I'm going to turn 41 in a month. Look, you're only as old as you feel. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I pulled my shoulder out on Monday, so
Oh,
I felt
yeah,
like I
yeah.
was 70.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, there is that too.
When you move and something goes, it's like, oh, that's what it feels like.
Ah, I never
When
knew I
dogs
could break
cry.
that. Well, this is what it's like when dogs cry. What is that from? Is that Simpsons?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
of
Millhouse.
course, of course it
When
is.
he
Oh,
meets
that's right.
Shelbyville.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Shelbyville
Millhouse.
version of himself, yeah. The Badonk is a new version of the old Line 6 Big Bottom model, which is based on a cross between Boogie Triple Rack and a Rivera.
Oh, they're so
Okay.
good, the Rivera amps.
Okay,
That's
sick.
probably why it sounds so good, yeah.
I love it. I think the Badonk is
That-
probably one of my favourite amp models
That's
for
probably why
high
it
gain.
sounds a bit like a Mesa as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know how I said,
Yeah.
like, and that's why I like the 5153, because it's
Totally.
got
It's a-
that.
Meatiness, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you just dial the bottom end out a bit, you just get this, like,
That would be the only thing I've noticed about the Line 6 amps is I think that the bottom end in all of them is a little overblown. And so I've found myself having to dial back a ton of bottom end on the amp model. But once you do that, the amps sound sick.
well, that's probably the boogie influence.
Well, no, it's I think it's the way the amps are voiced generally on the Helix.
Yeah.
I found it on most amplifiers
bottom
that they're a
endy.
bit bottom endy. So
Yeah.
all you have to do is just dial out a bit of that bass and you'll have something that's a little
Actually,
clearer.
my little mini rectifier head kind of, because it's smaller, it's not as bottom
not as
endy,
bottom,
and it
yeah,
actually
yeah.
cleans up some of the bottom end on the little Helix quite well, actually.
Yeah, totally. I mean, when
It
I'm-
works better than the bigger Mesa with it. That's
Absolutely,
for sure. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I find that the Matrix power amp I'm using for live is great too. I
That
don't
would be
have
cleaner
to,
as well. Yeah.
I don't have to dial out much bottom end
No.
when I'm running it through that. It's more so when you're using cab sims
Oh,
and stuff like that.
cabs.
Yeah,
Cabs can add a lot of bottom end.
yeah, that's very true.
Anyway,
All right, let's call it a night. Thanks for tuning in this week on. I guess we're just going to call this Riffing with Scott and Simone now because you're officially part of the stream.
I mean, I was kind of around.
Yeah.
Just
Just
I was
in
just being a
chat.
creep in the chat.
Yeah.
So
I think you missed my question earlier, but I'm curious. Do you feel there is a new trend in the prog metal scene right now with the pop and 80s inspired sound? Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, definitely.
I think, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I don't really have much to add to that other than
No,
it's
I've
cool.
noticed it as well. I think a lot of those bands already had that stuff going on. I
Yeah.
think that's why I like them.
Yeah.
But it's just that, and including us as well, I guess we're kind of diving more and more into it
Yeah.
in different ways,
Totally.
kind of.
Totally.
Like, we're all doing it in our own way.
Yeah.
But I can still hear, like, that we've got similar influences and stuff like that. It's really cool, actually. I love that Leprous do it a bit darker.
Yeah.
Vola are kind of a bit like us, but, like, with a bit more kind of, like, I don't know.
It's almost kind of more like dream poppy or something.
Yeah, they've kind
There's
of got
something-
the... I'm trying to think of the band that's kind of similar to them. They're not actually a metal band. I'm trying to think what they're called again. Can't put my finger on it.
Sorry, I'm just reading this comment. Take care, guys. I hope Scottish sounding mum isn't too miffed that you're being like.
I'm gonna. Well, she is Scottish, yeah, because I was born in Scotland as well, so yeah, and she's never lost her accent.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
she will be. Don't
yeah,
worry.
it's so funny.
But I'm going to
Simi's
show her
mum's great.
that now, so she can laugh at it.
Yeah, so we'll call it a show. But if you're interested, the tabs that we've been using are now available for purchase online as a digital tab book, which you can pick up from voyager.bandcamp.com. And it's 10 USD for a lovely tab book with every single song transcribed, both guitar parts. And it was designed by our wonderful drummer, Ashley Dudecourt. And if you want, there's a whole bunch of other cool stuff like t-shirts and all kinds of cool stuff. As you can see, there's a lot here, as well as all of our music as well.
Yeah.
And just know that every purchase you make on Bandcamp is going straight to us, the band. This is the best way to financially support us because, yeah, as I said, all the proceeds are kind of coming directly to us. So if you do want to pick up something, it would be of huge help for us in these trying and difficult times, as people always say.
We should probably remove those old Maydates.
Yes, that's true. We should go ahead and update that Bandcamp.
We should probably do a lot of things.
There are a lot of things on the list, all
On
right?
that note, thanks for joining us.
Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.
See you soon.
Immer wieder sind wir alle Tagediebe. Immer diese Weltanschauung ist auf einmal aufgetaut. Sag jetzt oder nie. Sign of the times. And he is on the borderline. And he is on the borderline. Sign of the times. And he is on the borderline. And he is on the borderline. All in rows, the precious things are locked